So throughout our time at SIGGRAPH, we've been talking about a number of subjects and features related to motion capture. We've spoken about retargeting, we've spoken about virtual production, we've spoken about data cleanup. Now these are all features and functionality that bring a lot of value to our customers and to people that are generating the next kind of line of games and movies using that tool set. But all that stuff, really, as impressive and important as it is, can in a lot of ways be considered icing on the cake. These are great features, but they sit on top of a core foundational base of 3 core tenets, which is quality, speed, and flexibility. And these are the 3 components that we're always conscious of, whatever we're developing in our software. We want quality because the better the data you get from a motion capture performance, the less time you're going to have to spend in post cleaning it up. We want speed because demands are high. There is a ever increasing demand for new movies, for new TV shows, for more animations, for video games. So the quicker that we can get that quality, the better. And flexibility because as much as anything else, everyone's needs are different. Lots of people will do motion capture, but no one ever does motion capture quite the same way as someone else. People have very unique needs. They have nuance to their pipelines. They have nuance to their creative process. And it's important for us to make sure that when we create these tools and we create these benefits, that they can work in whatever environment they are sent into. So those 3 tenets, quality, speed, and flexibility, are at the core of what we do with our motion capture package. Now, to give you a sense of what this actually looks like in practice, we're going to take you through the process of having a performer calibrating their skeleton and seeing that in real time. So we are now going to jump to Shogun Live. So what we have at the moment is just a series of markers. Each of these markers is being tracked in 2D by the cameras you see above you, and all of those tracks go into our Shogun Live software, triangulates the positions in 3D space, and that's what gives you that motion capture. But at the moment, there is no context to these. They are literally just points in space. So what we need to do is inform the system of what parts of the body these relate to. And to do that, we are going to do what's called a range of motion. So Gina is now going to perform this range of motion. These motions are going to do 2 things. It's going to inform the system of the extent and the layout of Gina's proportions, but what it's also going to do is tell the system which parts of the body these markers relate to, because the system can see each marker, view those movements in context to the other markers, and from that build a skeleton. So we have this labeling system, and what you can see in front of you is how, as more motion is done, more range of motion is done, we are gradually getting a stronger, more robust skeleton that we can then use to generate our animations. Now, there's no specific rule when it comes to performing these ROMs. As we mentioned, we always want to highlight flexibility. So every single studio has a slightly different way of doing these things, and that's what we want to cultivate. So you'll have some people like Gina who've been doing this for years, who know the process in and out, and can come straight in, perform a ROM, and we get a really good calibration out of it. So if you give us some movements, please, Gina. So in just a couple of minutes, we've gone from a cloud of markers in a space to a fully calibrated skeleton. And there's now things that we can do to kind of demonstrate the robustness of this solve. If Gina was to lie down on the floor, for example, please. So you will see the red markers on the screen shows markers that can no longer be seen by the camera. But because we have so much robustness in the rest of the skeleton, it can triangulate those positions with a high degree of accuracy. So even when the markers are occluded, which can happen maybe if you've got a fight scene or you're interacting with props, even when markers cannot be seen by the system, we have enough confidence based on the markers we can see to generate a really high quality solve. Now, something that's completely unique to Vicon is our finger tracking algorithm. So if we could please zoom in on the fingers, Mitch. So whereas there's some really awesome products available where you can track fingers with gloves, and we support integration with these with our software, we're the only company to do optical finger tracking. So this means that in addition to the really broad, large movements, say like a fight scene, we can capture the fidelity and the nuance of fingers. And what we can also do is combine that with secondary actors. So if Victor could please come back in the scene. So here's one we made earlier. So we created a skeleton for Victor earlier, and what we have here is 2 actors completely calibrated. They can interact with the fingers, they can interact with props, and within 5 minutes we have everything we need to not only capture a decent take that we can preview in real time, but we have high quality data, and we have it at speed, and we have the flexibility where a director or an animator can come in, give direction to our performers, and we have absolute confidence that the output of that data is going to be extremely high quality. If we could T-pose, please, guys. So even though traditionally you would maybe take this data and then once it's saved, move into Motion Builder and do editing. If you want to take this straight into your game engine, you can. We have a real-time stream straight into Unreal. We can support Unity. It essentially means that whatever you wish to do with your data, whether you want to preview it in real time with material shaders and lighting, you can. If you just want to preview it in Shogun, you can. If you want to take it into post and edit it, you can. It's all about having that flexibility while never compromising on the accuracy of the data we capture or the speed with which it's captured. So what you can see here, we have the real-time solve going on, we have labels being picked up, all this data has been streamed in real time, we have fingers, we have props, we have everything going on in the scene, and this is on a fairly modest machine, so it's not like you even need to crank up the processing power to get this amount of performance out of it. And cut. If we could return to T-pose, please. Could I please get a rapturous round of applause for our performers? So that's just a quick introduction to high power mocap. If you have any further questions, please come and ask our exceptional support team. They'll happily give you more detail. Thank you for your time, folks. Enjoy SIGGRAPH. Thank you again.